Hey, Armin here. Welcome to the NSP Nutrition Show, where we cover training, nutrition, supplementation strategies, and a whole lot more. So stand by. Hey, and welcome to the NSP Nutrition Show. I'm Armin Eckelbarger.
I'm Frank Mills, and welcome to the show today. We appreciate you joining us, whether you're watching or listening. Thank you for doing so. Today, we've got a great show for you today. Now, Armin and I, we're going to be talking about the NSP 21-Day Burn Fat Building Muscle Challenge Program. So that's going to be exciting. So we're going to talk about that. And then the second part of the show, we're going to talk about the Spartan Detox, talk about protein loading, Spartan lean growth, nutrition options, and much more. So looking forward to this show. Armin, this is a lot of great information. So kind of, this whole thing with a 21-day, I'm intrigued because something I haven't done. But, tell us a little bit about this 21-day.
All right. So, one of the people commented that we had the contest with. His name is Joseph DeMarco, and he kind of mentioned that we touch on this. And so I thought it'd be a good idea to discuss more about the program because people probably, if you're not aware of it, then there's some good things to know. And it's a really good quick starter program to kind of jumpstart things or just to kind of take a break. So.
Well, Joe, thanks for sending us that idea, and we got to give you the shout out, so that's great. All this sounds great. Armin, where do you want to start?
Well, I think we should start with, where the program originated from, which is basically this program came from how Vince trained the Hollywood movie stars. And so it's a program that was designed to get movie stars in shape really quickly, less than 2 weeks, basically. And, the studios would send these people to Vince and say, hey, get them ready for this role. And it was quite difficult, but if he wanted to get paid, which he got paid well for, I guess, I don't know exactly what he got paid, but if you want to get paid, he had to come up with a way to get them in the shape that the producers wanted, and he was able to deliver with it. So, I mean, go figure.
Well, that's excellent. So let's talk a little bit more about how this program works. Why don't you tell us what's involved?
All right. So with the program, Vince knew he had to make it kind of short and to the point, but also he had to get him results quickly. So, he divided it into basically 2 phases, and each one was lasting about 5 days because, his target was so short, he had to get really creative. So the exercises are the same for both phases, but the way they're utilized is going to be different. And also there is a different diet for each phase, which we're going to cover in the nutrition section later, but that was part of the Spartan. We call it the Spartan, but he had his own nutrition program attached to it.
Gotcha.
And so the program is designed to provide, a natural, trim, athletic look. That was all it was for, just to kind of get the body fat off, kind of tone up, and, look decent in whatever role that person had to do, whether it be a male or female. He worked with both.
Okay. Well, why don't we start with phase 1? How does that work?
All right. So phase 1 is what you call circuit or station training. So you have 9 different exercises. They're all set up before you start. So you're going to do one after the other is how the process works. And so then you go through the exercises as without any rest for a complete circuit. So that's how the phase 1 would work.
Okay. And what's the strategy behind those circuits?
Okay, so the way he had the circuits working was, day 1, you do 1 circuit. Day 2, you do 2 circuits. Day 3, he keeps adding them up. So 3 circuits. Day 4, 4 circuits. Day 5, 5 circuits. Now, the kicker is in this phase 1 is you had to do these circuits twice a day. So when you start out pretty easy, but then you had to do it again. And so that's, you first start out not too bad, but it keeps building up and putting more and more stress on the body.
Oh
And he
yeah.
had the 9 exercises were basically to hit every main area he thought that should be hit as far as your muscle groups to
Hmm.
give the athletic type of look. All right. So,
Wow.
he really didn't recommend heavy weight
Hmm.
because, you wouldn't be able to complete everything the way he wanted to be done. So he just wanted you to start getting through the exercises with good form and, really performing correctly with very little rest, get that heart rate up so to burn energy and basically help conditioning of the body.
Hmm.
And so, the way after you do 5 days, he'd let you have the weekends off to recover. And I'm sure they were probably going, thank God.
I
But
bet.
that's the thing. I mean, it builds up and increases intensity.
Well, that sounds intense. I mean, increasing it as you go like that. But
Mhm.
all right, so that's phase one. How does phase two work?
All right. So on the 6th day, as he would call it, now again, you had the weekends off. So on the 6th day, you're able to do the same routines, but you're training only once a day. But you're
Okay.
gonna and you do 4 circuits only. Okay, so that's the part of it. So here's where you would add, some additional weight so you can, make it a little more challenging while performing the exercise properly to get maximum results from it. So now you're going to start to use heavier weight because you know how to do the weight spot mechanically correctly. So now we're going to do a new type of stimulus, which is more resistance. And so that was the strategy on phase two.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. So all that sounds good. So
Mhm.
what are the 9 exercises, Armin?
So what the way he had it structured is, Vince would start out with the barbell neck press to hit the chest area, which also gets the shoulders. And then he would go to your back movement, which would be an alternate dumbbell rowing. And then you would go to dumbbell lateral raises to work the outside of the shoulders.
Okay.
Then you'd have you do a lying tricep pullover. So that's a two-part movement to hit a couple different areas. And then you would go to seated dumbbell curls to work the biceps and then seated barbell wrist curl to get the forearms in there. And then to work the stomach, you do a concentric, what he called double up, which is a type of a crunch. And then you would finish up with frog squats and heel raises. So you'd finish up with the legs. So the frog squats would be using, squat bar or some kind of weight in the front. And then your heel raises will work the calves. So that was your 9 exercise that he targeted for everybody with that program.
Oh, okay. So for that program, how does that kind of differ from the 21-day challenge?
All right, that's a good question. They're very similar, except there are 3 weeks of training. So they've added another week to week two. So
Hmm.
you have another week of training because typically Vince only had a couple of weeks to work with these people. Now, if he had more time, I'm sure he made some other adjustments. But if you had that short window, say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and then he would kind of wait to see probably what they needed if they had more time. So there's also an additional nutritional phase called the Spartan lean growth, which we'll cover later as part of the
Ah,
nutrition. So
okay.
there's, instead of there's 2 phases of nutrition, well, now there's 3 with this. So, NSP put the entire program into an app, which makes it a lot easier to see what's going on and to track. And, the app I think is very, very helpful. And it allows you to do everything step by step because you got videos demonstrating your exercise and you would just put in the reps and log everything that you did, your results. So and you had your rest periods in there, and the nutrition is all set up with the grocery list and menu, so it's all there on your phone. So you can use your phone or you can use a an iPad or whatever device to pull this app up in. But again, it's all there for you and it's free. So you can't really get hurt on this thing at all. So that's the beauty of it. So all you need is a phone or a tablet, and you can even use a desktop if you wanted. But everything's already preloaded. So once you start, you just start. You just got to go find the equipment that you need to execute the exercises, and there's different variations that I did the videos, so it covers if you're using a barbell, if you're using a dumbbell, if you have bands. We put different options in there depending on what equipment you have to work with, so it gives you
Wow.
some flexibility as
Mhm.
well.
This seems like a no-brainer to try. I mean, 21 days, it's free.
Yeah. Oh
You've
yeah.
got your entire optional workouts, right? Depending on equipment. You've got your nutrition. It's all in the app, all that good stuff, and free for 21 days. Why wouldn't you want to try that?
We got
Gives
we got a lot of people to jump on it, and they like
yeah,
it. So
that's cool. Okay. So I'm curious, Armin, what kind of results have you seen?
we've seen a lot of people really like it. Even people
Mm-hmm.
that are experienced with training just like to do it just for a change up because it is totally a different way of approaching your training. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you're kind of burnt out with stuff, this is a good refresher. But the people who did it to lose some body fat, they really liked it and they got good results from it. So,
Okay.
um, at the end of the day, it's free. And then you got a short timeline to complete. So, okay, I'm just going to commit to 21 days. So that's not like you're making a massive commitment. So that's the other thing. You got a timeline to work off of. And it's really challenging because it makes you really have to, step up your game if you want to get to where you need to be, and you learn a lot. I mean, you're learning about
Right.
nutrition, you learn about different exercises, and you learn about how to, increase your intensity, how to challenge yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
so, it just works for a lot of people who are looking to do a jump start with their training program. And again, for people who just want to do something totally different, it's a good, nice break in the action.
Mm-hmm.
And we got some great before and after photos of people that really nailed it. That just goes to show you that you know Vince was as good as he was. I mean, in a nutshell, because the stuff works, and it
Mm-hmm.
isn't easy either. So that's the other thing. I mean, if you want a 21-day kind of intense session, give this a shot. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised.
Well, for it being free, I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to try it if they haven't done
Oh
it
yeah.
yet. But how can people sign up for free, Armin?
Yeah, you just got to go to the NSP Nutrition website and then, nspnutrition.com and then look for the 21-day challenge. It's on there on the main page. You'll see it. It's basically
Okay.
halfway down on the main website. And just click that link and it'll just kind of walk you right through everything.
Well, and the NSP site right now, boy, they have really kind of brightened up and sharpened up their website. It's really
Yeah.
terrific. If you haven't seen it lately, check it out. A lot of new content, new things on there, and really easy to shop. I really love the website. So everybody take a look. But, Armin, we've talked about this multiple times as we wrap up the segment here. You know, is there any other information that you have that you would like to kind of wrap up this segment with?
Well, I mean, I think it's a good idea to learn as much as possible about what devices you're going to use to get the quickest and the best, relief. So, as far as results.
Absolutely.
So, you know, um, personally, with this, if you may just want to check on what equipment you need. That would be the most important thing. And if you don't have it, try to make a modification for it. And you should be able to do this in a gym. It just depends on how busy the gym is. But I mean, you can do it with all dumbbells. You can do it
Right.
with mostly
Right.
barbells, and you can also do it with bands. So it should be executed the way you want. So
Okay. Okay. Well, another great segment. I look forward to finding out more here in the second segment. But before we do that, I'd like to ask all of you for your help. In future shows upcoming, we're adding a Q&A section. So it's an
yeah.
opportunity for you to ask whatever question you want. Armin, me, show, NSP, Vince, whatever you want to talk about. But we need your questions for content for the show. We've got a lot. We're looking for more because it's going to be a new weekly segment answering your questions. So we make sure that we're answering all of them. You don't have to type and wait unless you want to. This gives you an opportunity to watch the show and get acknowledged for your question, your topic, and hear Armin answer the question right here live on the show. So if you would like to send that information, topic, a question, whatever, please send it either to the QR codes above us. You
Yep.
can email us at support@nspnutrition.com, or you can comment on YouTube and we'll get it there. But we are looking for your content. So any way you can help us out, please do so. Stand by for more of the NSP Nutrition Show, and Armin and I will be right back.
Hey, and welcome back to the NSP Nutrition Show. I'm Armin Eckelbarger.
I'm Frank Mills, and before we get into the Spartan Detox, we just wanted to thank you guys for subscribing, liking, watching the show, sharing it. It means a lot. We're over 1,000 subscribers now on YouTube, and we really appreciate that. We wouldn't be successful without you guys, and we definitely appreciate it. We're asking for you is if you could do that and keep doing it. If you want to share it with a friend or family member, somebody you work with, we'd really appreciate it. The whole object of the show, if we can impact one person and help them be healthier, happier, in better shape, anything that we can do, a supplement that might make them feel better. That's why we're doing the show, right, Armin?
Absolutely. Yep. So if you got a good question and you got some good input, and then just following the show, it gives you good ideas. That helps us. It's a great win-win. So, and the more people you can share it with, I'm sure they're going to have questions as well.
And you can find the show, of course, on YouTube, but it's available on any of your favorite podcast apps as well. So check it out, the NSP Nutrition Show, and thank you for what you're doing. Okay, on to the Spartan Detox, protein loading, and Spartan lean growth nutrition options. Well, that's a lot, Armin, but you said there are 3 different nutrition options in the 21-day challenge, right?
Yeah, and they're also, the nice thing is they're included in the app. So with the app that NSP has, you have your training part of the app, but then you have the nutrition part of the app to really simplify things as well. And that's where you can get your grocery list from. And again, knowing what foods you need to get. So it's really helpful. But there's a good amount of variety into different things that you're going to learn when you're doing these nutrition strategies.
Absolutely. Okay. That's all good stuff, but I'm kind of intrigued with this whole Spartan Detox. So let's start with that. What's exactly involved with the Spartan Detox?
Well, it's designed to clear out your digestive enzymes and your digestive tract to prepare it for the protein loading phase. So, it's pretty simple actually how it works. But your first 2 meals for breakfast and lunch are just 8 ounces of black cherry juice.
Okay.
And then you have a dinner, which is actually pretty large. And the dinner is made of a salad, which you use olive oil and vinegar and garlic to put on the salad. So it's a lot. I mean, Vince is like, all right, well, you're going to be hungry, so let's give you a lot of good fiber. And that's what the salad does. It helps really clear any mucus, which is one of the things that Vince felt was always an issue with too much protein. You get some mucus build up. So that was designed to kind of clear everything out of your digestive tract and to rebuild that flora. So when you eat the protein, things are ready.
That's pretty interesting, but boy, that doesn't sound like much for 7 days. So no protein?
So the goal here is really to reduce any uric acid and again, to clear out that mucus in the digestive tract. So I mean, it's a detox and a half to say the least. And so that was another thing that makes it challenging because you're training hard. This also, though, lowers your insulin. So that's a good thing because that allows you to burn fat a lot quicker. Vince kind of understood these things. So, there's 2 workouts a day the first week, and people are really pretty hungry as their body is getting depleted. So that's one of the things. That's why I call it Spartan. You kind of have to, buck up, so to speak. And so you're going to lose a good amount of weight through that process. And then you're really that way. You're really looking forward to the protein loading phase. And they always comment on that. Oh man, thank God I get some protein. But that first 7 days, I got to agree, it's pretty tough. But the reason that the cherry juice is to kind of help with the muscle soreness. There's some research that Vince had learned about that would help with that. So that's kind of help what the strategy was there. And it gives you a few carbohydrates, not much, but it gives you some to help give you the energy throughout the day. And then you just finish up with that salad and get some fats from the oil. And then you get that fiber from the salad to help clear out everything in the digestive tract.
Huh. Okay. Well, wow, that sounds, I mean, that's a lot of salad, but hey, after 7 days, you probably get to bring on the protein. So what's involved in the protein loading phase of this?
So at this point, you're actually pretty hungry and
I
you're
bet.
pretty
Yeah.
depleted. So, and I'm sure there was always some hiccups that Vince had to deal with, but at the same time, when you got to the protein loading phase, everybody's pretty fired up about that. So, um, yeah, I mean, when you get the protein, you're like, oh, thank God. So breakfast was basically steak, okay, and some soft boiled eggs, and again some black cherry juice, to help kind of with that soreness. So you can imagine what a steak would look like with some eggs after you've been depleted. So that was a big hit.
I
And then
bet. Yeah.
lunch, lunch was you go back to a finger salad, and then which is just basically a finger salad is something you pick up the vegetables and eat them, as is. So in other words, you're not
Okay.
using a fork, you're just using that, and then you'd have some oil, vinegar, garlic, and again some black cherry juice as something to drink with that. So that was your lunch, and then dinner was steak again, with a salad, and then olive oil, vinegar, garlic, and again some more black cherry juice, which again that was kind of help with the muscle soreness. So people really enjoyed the getting back to the meat thing, especially if you're a meat eater.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, protein, absolutely. So, Armin, what's in the Spartan lean growth?
Yeah, it's a pretty good question. So it's basically the same as the protein loading phase, but at this point, you can adjust how much salad you're gonna want and to keep you filled up. So you're kind of making that judgment yourself. Both options, again, they're going to recommend an olive oil, which is really good for you, and then the
Hmm.
vinegar and garlic, and then however you want to flavor things up. You could use any kind of spices you want, but that's what you're really doing. You're just changing up how much fiber you're getting with your protein. And if you're really hungry, then you're just going to have more salad. But you could also have a little bit more meat. And Vince is always about eat till full kind of strategy. So and he knew because your leptin and ghrelin hormones are probably back into balance that you would fill up fairly quickly, which,
Hmm.
when your leptin hormones working right, that's what happens. So
Interesting.
that's why he didn't make a lot of different measurement systems for how much to eat.
Interesting. Yeah, it's really good stuff. I am kind of curious because, with the black, what do you say, black cherry juice and olive
Yeah.
oil. Why black cherry juice and olive oil? I mean, I know olive oil is good for you, but how did he come up with adding that to this?
Well, that was pretty clever on his part, I thought.
Hmm.
Again, he did some research, but this black cherry juice is supposed to help reduce inflammation. So that's going to help with muscle
Ah,
soreness and things that, you're overstressing the body. So it helps keep that inflammation down. And so he thought, well, we're going to do that. And, worst case, it's a psychological thing.
hmm.
And there's a few carbohydrates in there. But the olive oil it has great properties to it. It's got some fats. It burns really well. So that was another thing too. Is it has some anti-inflammatory properties along with the cherry juice. So olive oil and cherry juice was kind of things that balance things out, and he knew it was a good source of energy as well. So I mean, just goes to show you, he was really educated about nutrition and then supplements as well regarding this whole program.
Yes, he was. Now, speaking of supplements, did Vince
Uh,
recommend any for this program?
yeah, it wouldn't be Vince if he didn't recommend
Hmm.
supplements. So he had a strategy for each meal. So what you'll see is he would recommend 6 to 8 digestive enzymes, especially with the eating the protein, because you're having steaks are pretty dense nutrients, so the digestive enzymes help to break down the steak so you can absorb that protein really well. You want to keep your metabolism firing off and get that thyroid gland nourished. So we have 5 to 10 kelp tablets to get the iodine from that.
Hmm.
And then he had some vitamin C, typically 500 milligrams, 3 choline inositol tabs, and then 10 liver tabs every 3 hours. So that was what was recommended. And you probably didn't go too much over the top with the supplements because, Hollywood movie stars are probably not going to follow everything as well as you would like because they got a lot going on. So I think he just tried to target what he thought made sense.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. So, as we wrap up here, Armin, any other final thoughts or information for us?
Yeah, in my opinion, with the way Vince did the whole thing, even with the nutrition, it was a well thought out program. And and it worked obviously because you use it over and over, and the Hollywood stars, they could tolerate it, because with what they have some of these Hollywood stars do now, it's just ridiculous and not necessary. But he knew they could tolerate it and kind of get the result that the producers wanted. So if you're looking to, again, just do something to get yourself back in the game, this is a great jumpstart program, and since it's free. I mean, I really suggest you give it a shot if you haven't ever tried it. And for those that have tried it, actually, there's guys that go back and do it again, because they just want to do something as a change up. So
Right.
if you're looking for something that's well structured and to give you some ideas about nutrition and training, this is a no-brainer, I think. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I can tell you, it's something that you can try. There's a lot of great things that
oh yeah.
it will definitely impact you. And as far as the supplements, I had a friend of mine ask me the other day because I told him about the show and he went on and checked it out. But he asked me, what does NSP stand for? And in case somebody doesn't know, naturally sourced products, all natural supplements. So, they're very good for you and they've been life-changing for me. I know, Armin, you take them as well. But boy, it wouldn't be the same if I stopped taking them. I'll tell you that. I've noticed a big difference. And there's definitely a lot of new items on the website that, the sleep shred, the MCT oil, berberine, a lot of supplements that are on there that, I'm experimenting with, taking them myself, and they've been great. So we appreciate the opportunity of NSP allowing us to talk about Vince and their supplements and working out and all that good stuff. And Armin, we really appreciate the audience. And like I said, any input or questions they can offer, we sure could use their help, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, again, we can help more people. We know what they're looking for. And that's what the process is all about, is to be able to help people. So help us out.
Absolutely. Again, you can do that with the QR codes above us. You can email at support@nspnutrition.com, or you can comment on YouTube and we'll definitely get your information. Read your question and live during the show. So we'll do that for you. But we appreciate you joining us today, and join us again next week for a brand new episode of the NSP Nutrition Show.
Hey, thanks for checking out the NSP Show. Go to nspnutrition.com where you can find a whole heap of resources to help you achieve stunning definition and eye-popping levels of muscularity. Don't forget, you can save 10% on your first order by using the code NSP Show at the checkout. Catch you next time.